Welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay. Your host, Jeff Ribba, and Redskins head coach, Joe Socosta. We'll be right back with Jeff and Jay.
The F.W. Schumacher Insurance Agency was established in 1903. They have 3 agents and 3 customer service representatives to give you the kind of service you deserve. Being an independent insurance agency means they represent different companies, allowing them to compare for you. For all of your insurance needs, auto, home, life, bonds, business, or farms, contact F.W. Schumacher Insurance Agency at 472-0876.
Masters Garage has recently added a new service to their long list of automotive repairs. They're now rebuilding starters, alternators, and generators. And remember, they specialize in custom exhaust work with the Ben Pearson Muffler Shop, as well as brake work, lead jobs, and oil changes. Masters features a full line of Quaker State products, including oil, filters, lube products, and parts to keep your vehicle in top running condition. Call Masters Garage today at 472-1232.
Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay. Coach, Saturday night down Bishop Donahue, we seen a different Redskin football team show up than what had showed up in the first previous scrimmages we had. Offensively, 175 yards rushing, over 100 yards passing, 28 points on the board. The offense finally got on track, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, and we were hoping that would be the case, Jeff. We were real pleased with our preseason scrimmage against Strasburg and our preview against Buckeye Trail, even though we won 7-0 in 2 quarters. But we were hoping to get the offense in gear, and we realized that the defense is usually ahead of the offense early in the season, but we also tried to stress to our young men that they needed to get some points on the board, that we couldn't just expect to play defense and win with a touchdown or so. So we were pleased that we did get some points on the board, even though we still got a lot to work on.
Coach, defensively, what a solid performance. We allowed 32 yards rushing, 53 yards passing, held them to under 100 total yards. But forget the stats, which are impressive. It was just a good, solid game, a hard-hitting game. Not many more defensive teams at Westfield hit any harder than that. We just delivered a good physical pounding down there. One of the comments that was made, I've heard down toward the end of the game when they were knocking on the door, someone had made a comment that they may be knocking on the door, but there's probably nobody in their huddle wanting to carry the football to get it in. Just defensively, we really let loose down there. Was you pleased with defense?
And we were pretty well satisfied with the defense. Again, that doesn't mean we don't have room for improvement. There were some things that we didn't do real well. But overall, I was really pleased with the aggressiveness. As you mentioned, a very hard-hitting defensive effort. And it was a team defensive effort. It wasn't any 1 or 2 individuals. You can single out every single person along the front wall and in the linebacking area and also in the secondary. It just was an overall team effort, and a lot of people, Redskins, were going to the ball like Redskins. So we were pretty well satisfied with our overall team defensive effort.
Coach, what you said, that might have been what maybe is sticking out in my mind. It just seemed like everybody was hitting. It was just a good, solid performance. A lot's expected out of this team this year, and we've already covered that. But they didn't look too great in August. What happened?
Well, we didn't look real good early, and I don't know really how to explain that. We did have a little talk, the team together, a couple, 3 days before that first game, and we, I think, kind of got things together a little bit. And we had a couple good practices last week prior to Bishop Donahue, and I think I started to see some of what we know that these young men can do come forward. And we hope that that just improves with each week that passes, and this team continues to get better, because even though we opened up with a 28-0 win over Bishop Donahue, we are in no way, shape, or form where we want to be. There's definitely room to improve.
Coach, the team definitely seemed fired up Saturday, played with enthusiasm, and it was just a good example of playing with enthusiasm. And I also think after what we had seen in the 2 scrimmages in August, and then what we've seen Saturday night at Bishop Donahue, this team needs to play with enthusiasm, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a different type of football team, Jeff, and I think that's the case each year. You have different individuals, even though you have your sophomores and your juniors and your freshmen coming back from previous year. it's a different group, and each group is different in their own way. It takes different things to get them excited, maybe enthusiastic, and we didn't see a lot of enthusiasm out of this group in preseason drills and in our scrimmage and our preview. I noticed that they kind of stepped the tempo up a little bit when it came game time on Saturday night. Someone mentioned maybe they're gamers. That's a good thing to know that they are gamers, and they'll be ready to play whenever the ball's kicked off.
Well, as long as they continue to be gamers and on Friday or Saturday nights perform like they did at Bishop Donahue, I'm sure everybody will be satisfied with that. Coach, Bishop Donahue, last year was a playoff team. They've had 11 winning streaks, or 11 years in a row with winning football teams. But to put it in perspective, they're a pretty young team. They're rebuilding. We're very experienced and veteran ball club. So not trying to take anything away from the 28-0 victory, but at the same time, don't want people to think we're world beaters right off the bat. Do you agree?
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, Jeff. As you said, Bishop Donahue has a good program for a small school in West Virginia. They've been to playoffs several times, and they're well coached, and they've had a lot of good kids over there. They did lose some quality individuals from last year's team that was a playoff contender, and so they're not maybe as strong as they have been. I hadn't had an opportunity to see them prior to Saturday night. I expected maybe to be a little bit stronger than what they were, but they're not a real strong physical football team, nor do they have the skilled people like they did last year to do some of the things they did last year. But nevertheless, I think they'll win a few football games. I'm hoping they'll win. In fact, I like seeing them win the rest of them. But it's a good program, and like I say, they're well coached, and we wish them the best of luck in their remaining games because it could help us.
Okay, Coach, just to finish up on Saturday night's game, this is completely little side note here. A lot of fans were asking me and want to know where the chant was this past week. I guess, sometimes I don't pay attention to things, but it wasn't done all night. No one heard it all night. Did you guys do away with that this year?
Well, I've heard the same thing, and no, I didn't do away with it. In fact, we love the chant. As coaches, as players, fans, we all love it. That's a good question. I guess maybe those people who are asking that question should ask our band director where the chant is, because it was missed Saturday night. It's something that our kids have kind of looked forward to hearing, and we hope that is instituted here coming up this week.
Okay, Coach, we'll be right back with this week's guests, Ricky Russell and Kenny Maggill.
It's still hot outside, but fall weather is just around the corner, and so is the Economy Store with big savings on summer clearance for those 80-degree September and October days, and lots of new fall clothes for those cool autumn nights. The latest in fall suits and dresses have arrived for those who like the executive look. If you prefer a more casual look, the Economy Store is the place to go for beautiful sweaters. Mix and match with name brand jeans, dress slacks, skirts, or stirrup pants. And they have accessories in the latest fashion colors. Christmas layaway, dress club, and personal service are waiting for you at the Economy Store.
Ricky, I want to congratulate you on a fantastic game Saturday night. 6 for 12, 102 yards passing. You had several nice runs. I think you probably had close to 80 yards rushing, but you lost several yards and a couple sacks and things. Rick, what was the difference in the team this week? I asked Coach that question, but from your standpoint, what was the difference in the team compared to the first two scrimmages?
Well, it seemed as if our team had a different approach to this week's game. Like in our two previous scrimmages and our preview, it seemed just like we were going through the motions, and we weren't really giving it 100%. But this week we knew we were playing for keeps, so we gave it all we had.
That's good. A lot was expected out of our team this year, and I'm not trying to add any pressure. You've heard it, you know it, but do you feel pressure?
Yeah, we do. The community, really thinks we're going to have a great football team. Some people compare us to the 91 team, which I really don't think, that comparison's possible. But, the media, the community really think we're going to have a good football team.
Okay. What do you think about this year's team? What's your gut feeling about it?
We're a real close team. We've done a lot of things together. We went through the heat and the practices, and we're really close. And last week of practice, was really good. We really worked hard to compare for Bishop Donahue, and we're a real close team.
What's your thoughts about Shadyside this week?
Shadyside got a real tough team. Coach told us today that this game really means a lot. It could mean a UAC championship and even a state playoff berth. So we really how much this game means to us and the coaching staff. So we're going to go with what we have.
You guys be as enthused this week or more than
we'll definitely be higher than we were against Bishop Donahue.
Coach, your comments about Rick?
Yeah, I want to say, Jeff, that Rick has displayed a lot of qualities that you look for in a quarterback, not only this year so far, but last year he got a lot of valuable experience. Have to understand that this is only his second year as a starting quarterback. When he was a sophomore, he played on that 91 team as a split end and did a fine job. Last year was his first year under center, under fire as a quarterback. And that's not an easy position to play, believe me, I know. I played that position for a while when I was in high school. And so it takes a lot of things to make everything gel, and Rick has done a lot of good things, and we expect a lot of good things to happen in the future. The thing about Rick is he can hurt a team in many ways. He can hurt him by throwing the ball. He can hurt him with his ability to run the ball. And when he goes back or rolls out, they don't know whether he's going to throw or whether he's going to run the ball, and that puts a lot of added pressure on the defense, and he did a little bit of that against Bishop Donahue. And I think I was teasing the other day, very few times that we've had a quarterback at Westfield High School throw for over 100 yards because we're basically a ground-oriented football team. But he did show that he could throw the football, and he has shown that he can run the football, and we're hoping that he gives a lot of defenses fits for the remainder of the year.
Rick, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Good luck Friday against Shady.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Kenny and the Joke.
Let Swiss Savings Realty help you find what you need in home, commercial property, or land. Free gas, country water, outbuildings, 2 rentals, a house and a mobile home, along with 8-room remodeled farmhouse, 5-bay garage with 2 offices and a bath, make this property a great buy on 172 acres located in Semi Township. This one won't last long. On the corner of State Route 78 and Barney Woods, this 2-story house is on 70 acres with a barn and other outbuildings. Call Swiss Savings Realty at 472-0614.
Kenny, well, congratulate you on a fantastic game Saturday night. Seemed like he's all over the field, had 17 tackles, 7 tackles with a lost yardage. Kenny, when you get in your stance, you seem to get off the row. Would you explain your technique to us a little bit?
Well, whenever I get down on my stance, it just gives me better leverage and more of a fire out whenever I come off the ball. And it just makes me a little bit quicker than the center does.
Okay. Kenny, you played at Bellsville last year, and you guys won the OVAC, and you've experienced some pressure situations playing over there. Do you feel any extra pressure this year because you've transferred over to Woodsfield?
No, I don't feel any pressure at all.
Okay, and has it been easy as far as the transfer? Has everything kind of just fell into place for you?
Yeah, it's been able to fall in place because the coaches have been great and all the players have been okay, and all the people in the community just treat me like I'm from Woodsfield.
That's good. That's good. And you're familiar with upcoming opponent, Shadyside, because when you was at Bellsville, you guys have played them year in, year out. Your thoughts about Shadyside this week?
Well, Shadyside, we got to keep the enthusiasm up, and we just got to go out and play ball like we know how to play ball.
Now, as far as you're concerned, enthusiasm, is it easy for you to get ready, mentally prepared for a ball game?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Coach, your comments about Kenny?
Well, as I mentioned to you on our earlier show when we talked about our personnel, Jeff, I'm really pleased to have Kenny with us this year. He's a fine young man. He's an outstanding football player. We're just tickled to death that he is able to join us this year and be a part of our program. I'm real pleased with his progress to date. He's done a lot of good things in practice, and he's done some good things in our preseason scrimmage and our preview. And in the first ball game, he was all over the field, and that's what we expected him to do, and he didn't disappoint us any. He's probably one of the quickest nose guards that I've ever seen, and even when he's in an inverted position, he looks like he's coming down inside. He can go outside as well as inside, and that's the type of defense scheme we have, and I think he fits in real well with that middle guard position, and we expect him to continue to do big things for the Redskins.
Okay, thank you for coming on the show. Good luck Friday night against Shadyside. We'll be right back and take a look at the clips from this past week against Bishop Donahue.
The F.W. Schumacher Insurance Agency was established in 1903. They have 3 agents and 3 customer service representatives to give you the kind of service you deserve. Being an independent insurance agency means they represent different companies, allowing them to compare for you. For all of your insurance needs, auto, home, life, bonds, business, or farms, contact F.W. Schumacher Insurance Agency at 472-0876.
We open the game with the passing attack coach. Ricky finds Larry for 31 yards.
Well, we didn't know what type of defense they were going to be in. We didn't expect them to be in this type of defense where we had 11 men within 3 or 4 yards of the ball, but luckily we had a play-action pass call here, and Rick delivers the ball to Larry Nelson, and he takes it for about 31 yards here to set up a big, complete a big play here in the first play of the game.
Ricky keeps the ball here and picks up 15 yards.
Well, this was actually, Jeff, a pass play, and what happened is they gave us a little pressure, and Ricky intelligently kept the ball outside and turned it in. This is what I was talking about, him having that ability. No one was open. He evaded a tackler here and tucked it away and picked up some valuable yardage.
Ricky puts a nice touch on this ball here as he completes a 9-yard touchdown to Scott Wilson.
And here again, we'll play-action pass. They've got a lot of people close to the football. They do a nice job faking inside, faking second man through, and dumping the ball to a wide open Scott Wilson, who made a nice grab for a touchdown.
Chris Dalrymple follows up the touchdown with a point after.
Yeah, Lumpy, this is the first of 4 perfect conversions on the night. We get a pretty good job by our offensive front, keeping him out. It didn't give us a lot of pressure, but Lumpy boots it through.
J.R., Kenny, and Grant Nichols combine on a sack for a loss of 11 yards.
It's just a good example here of some of our defensive play from our front people here in our defense. A lot of good quick movement and pressure on the quarterback. And of course, that's the best defense against the pass and getting heat on the quarterback.
Dustin Robertson on the receiving end of a 31-yard pass for a touchdown.
Again, they've got a lot of people up close to the football, not guarding against the pass, but trying to stop the run. So we run a play-action pass, nice fake inside to Luke Shoemaker, and Ricky does a nice job moving to his right and throws over a defender, and Dustin makes a super catch by keeping a lot of concentration and takes it on in for a touchdown.
Jeremy Kramer pressures the quarterback and enables Kenny to get a CDL for a loss of 2.
Again, pressure here from Jeremy by taking the quarterback on the option enabled Kenny to come over and make the tackle on the pitch man before he could get outside and turn the corner.
Kenny, Jeremy, and Grant combine on a sack for a loss of 8 yards.
And here again, we get good pressure from the up front people. They don't have time to throw. It looked like they were trying to fake the shuffle pass, but he knew better than to pitch it because there wasn't anybody to pitch it to. And those people combined on him for the tackle.
Jeremy does a good job of stringing this play out, and Chris Dalrymple makes the tackle.
And here, Jeff, what a defensive end is supposed to do. Jeremy used his hands, stayed to the outside, didn't make the tackle, but he forced him to cut back inside, and there's where he had pursuit from Chris Dalrymple making a nice tackle.
Luke Shoemaker busts one for 54 yards, touchdown.
By throwing the play-action pass, we forced them back into a little more normal defense. They jumped into a 50 defense here. We quick trapped up the middle. Nice trap there by Jeremy Kramer. Luke does a nice job cutting it back and shows some speed here, outrunning a couple of their secondary people and taking it on in with a great effort into the end zone. Super run.
J.R. Young does a good job plugging the hole, and Finn Calder comes in and makes a nice tackle.
Yeah, fine effort by both young men. J.R. took on the tackle, defeated the block, and Jonathan Calder comes through as he did all night, made a super tackle here for minus yardage.
Dustin Robertson makes a saving tackle here.
Here, a well-executed play by Bishop Donahue. They fake a screen to the right and then drop the ball back over the middle to their tight end, and we were caught in a game here, and if it wasn't for Dustin making that saving tackle, they would have had 6 points on the board.
Chris Dalrymple has a CDL for loss of 2.
So here, good pressure by Lumpy, destroys the defensive block and just overpowers their offensive lineman. and gets some help in there from Jeremy Kramer and makes the tackle.
Jeremy Kramer gets a quarterback sack for a loss of 7. A little help from JR.
It seems like the defensive line were taking turns making those big sacks, and here Jeremy does a nice job staying with the man and coming clear across from his left defensive end to make the sack. Fine play.
Luke shows fine second, third, fourth effort on this screen pass.
Pretty well set up this time, Jeff, and the fact that they were putting a lot of pressure on. Ricky does a nice job waiting until the last minute to drop the ball to Luke. And as you said, Luke gave a lot of second and third effort here, and nice move there to the inside and then back out the outside and leading a couple, 3 tacklers and still on his feet driving for extra yards. Great play.
Luke steps up, makes a fine interception here.
Here they go to the air again, and again we do a good job of getting in front of him. Luke steps in, picks one off, and sets us up for another touchdown.
Larry Nelson makes a fine catch here, 16 yards, touchdown.
Yeah, it was a nice pattern by Larry, also a super toss by Ricky, and a great catch by Larry. Here he goes on an inside-out move, and Ricky places the ball perfectly, and Larry just gets inside the end zone for the touchdown. Great throw, great catch.
Joe Kress steps in, makes an interception.
Yeah, they're down there kind of knocking on the door, and of course we want to preserve the shutout, and they try to throw the ball deep, and Joe steps in front, does a nice job making the interception, and brings it back on a nice return. We thought maybe at one point he might have shot, take it all the way, but they did stop him. But this shows the improvement Joe has made since the first scrimmage, where he had some difficulty in the secondary. He's getting better every game.
Will Weddle starts his Redskin career with a nice 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, here we have the younger people in the game at this time, and we hand off to Will here on a power right. He shows a lot of promise for a young back here, taking the ball outside and cutting back and getting the extra yardage.
Coach, when we first started the series against Shadyside, they pretty much dominated us in the first part of the series. We've played them 18 times now, and but the last few years, particularly the last 5 games, we've kind of got their number, and we're starting to dominate them. The series is pretty well even now. Shadyside's got a good football program. They got a lot of tradition down there. They've got about 43, 45 kids out for football this year, and they beat Caldwell in a scrimmage. Some people thought that was a fluke, but they come back this past week. They beat Toronto, which has always got a good football program, 9-7. They've got a good football team this year, don't they, Coach?
Yeah, they sure do, Jeff. And as you mentioned, they do have a lot of tradition there. Year in, year out, they're a tough football team to play. And as you mentioned, there at one point they kind of had a little edge on us, and momentum changed a little bit. In the last several years, we had a little edge on them. But even in the last several years, it's not been easy. Even though we have won more times than they have, it's not been an easy thing to do, because if you look at the scores, you'll see they've all been low-scoring contests, basically defensive struggles, other than the playoff game, which was a blowout in our favor. You take 2 years ago in 1991 with the great team that we had in a regular season game, we had to score in the second half, end up beating them 6-0 in order to win that game. So we always looked at that as being a very tough, hard-fought game, and a lot of defense will probably be played. I don't look at this year as being any exception, but they do have a good football team, and it wasn't any fluke, because I was there when they scrimmaged Caldwell. I think Caldwell thought maybe that they were going to get down and it was going to be pretty easy, and Shadyside shut them out on defense. It shows you what kind of a football team they have, because Caldwell is explosive offensively, and they also put the ball in the end zone against Caldwell. So they're vastly improved from last year, and they ended up 6-4 last year. So we're anticipating a real difficult football game Friday night.
Coach, this Shadyside game always seems to be a very pivotal contest on the schedule. It's early in the season, but it dictates a lot with state playoff bursts. We don't want to start talking about now, but it's a pivotal game. OVAC, because they're out of the PVC conference. A win over Shadyside even last year at 6-4. They got us a lot of points. So it's a key game. It's a good way to judge our football team, where we're at, and where we need to be. Coach, who's their key personnel offensively, and what do you expect to see out of them Friday night?
Well, before we get into the personnel, a little bit more to elaborate on what you just mentioned about being a key game. It is a key game. Usually a key game every year early in the season, because with their type of program, they're going to win a lot of football games, and we've won a lot of football games in the past. So regardless of who wins, it's going to help either team in the long run down the stretch. Whether it be OVAC or a playoff situation, it is a very pivotal game. So there is a lot on the line this week. They had a lot of kids that we need to look at as being very key performers for them. Starting with their quarterback on offense, Ryan Slack. Last year they ran a little different style of offense. They kept it pretty tight. They were pretty conservative, and he didn't throw the football very much. I would have to say he probably did a lot of work on the off season, because what I saw against Toronto last Friday night, he can throw the football. He's much improved throwing the football. I know he can run the ball. He's a tough kid, and I didn't get to see him play against Caldwell in the scrimmage because he was sick and didn't dress for that scrimmage. But he is vastly improved, and he's going to probably give us some problems. As far as the other offensive players to watch, Mike Seuss is, I feel, one of the better runners in the Valley. He's one of those type of kids that does not go down with an arm tackle. He will fight and scrap and everything to get that extra yard or two, and he's a hard runner. Not necessarily real quick in terms of outright speed, but he has better than average speed, and he can go the distance if you let him get in the open. But the big thing I think he has going for him is that second and third effort. Their fullback, Mokros, is not a real big kid, about 155 pounds, but he does give him an inside threat, and he made a couple key runs against Toronto last week to help them control the ball. They have three wideouts in Schaefer and Wells that can catch the football, and we're very concerned about their pass as well as their run. So there's not any one thing we can key on. We have to be on our toes, and we have to shut down their entire offense in order to be successful defensively.
Okay, Coach, and as far as defense goes for the Tigers, their personnel, and what do you expect to see?
Well, we look for them to be real tough on defense, too. They have, again, some standouts on defense. Probably one young man that poses a big problem for us is a kid that played last year at a down tackle, Mark Tyler. Big kid, about 6'2", 6'3", about 230, 235. Was very aggressive in their scrimmage against Caldwell and caused Toronto a lot of fits, came up with some key sacks. They started him out of linebacker position, moved him to a down tackle position in their 4, and they had a hard time keeping him out of there. So we're going to have to block him and do a good job on him. He's not the only one. Seuss is a linebacker that is in on about every tackle. Another young man by the name of Brent Littleton, number 32, is another one that's in on a lot of tackles. And not only do we have to be concerned about their offense and their defense, but they've got an excellent kicking game. They have one of the better kickers in the Valley, and Elias Matsakis. He is not only their kickoff and their place kicker, but he's also their punter, and he boomed one in the rain last week about 45 yards. So they have a solid kicking game, a solid defense, and a much improved offense. So that tells you right there that we've got our hands full Friday night.
Well, and as always in the past, all 18 games, I don't think there's ever been a blowout except in that playoff game. Coach, if we play with the enthusiasm and determination that we played with this past Saturday against Bishop Donahue, I think we should have success against the Tigers. But if we don't play with that enthusiasm, and if we play as we did in those first 2 scrimmages and have a lackluster performance, it could be a long night for you.
Well, it will be. I hope that we'll improve on some of the things we didn't do real well in our first game, even though we won. And I hope that enthusiasm continues as it did last week and is even better this week, because we'll need that, because this is a big football game.
Well, good luck Friday night, Coach. See you next week.
Masters Garage has recently added a new service to their long list of automotive repairs. They're now rebuilding starters, alternators, and generators. And remember, they specialize in custom exhaust work with the Ben Pearson Muffler Shop, as well as brake work, lead jobs, and oil changes. Masters features a full line of Quaker State products, including oil, filters, lube products, and parts to keep your vehicle in top running condition. Call Masters Garage today at 472-1232.
When you're rushed to get to the building or just going out of town, call Pizza Shack in Manhattan at 795-5900 and we'll have your order ready when you get there. Choose pizza, subs, sandwiches, or salads. Try our original breadsticks served with our own special sauce and cheese, and you'll understand why they're an absolute favorite. If you're in the mood for spaghetti, lasagna, or chicken dinner, stop in at our St. Mary's shop. The pizza business is our family's livelihood, and we strive to serve a quality product to our customers. Call Pizza Shack today. It's time to stop by Westfield Savings and Loan. We offer a variety of rates and terms to suit your home mortgage needs. Our low rates make owning your own home affordable, and the Westfield Savings and Loan is an equal housing lender. Open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday 9 to 3, Thursday and Saturday 9 to 12, and Friday 9 to 6. We pride ourselves on serving you quickly and efficiently. When it's time for a home mortgage or financial service, call us at Westfield Savings and Loan Company.